Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AAPI Voices for Justice Volunteer Information Session. Thank you for your interest in volunteer work. My name is Victor Sin. I use the pronouns he, him. I work in the civic engagement team of the Asian Law Alliance. The Asian Law Alliance is a non-profit law office based in San Jose, California. While we provide service to everyone due to our limited resources, we focus our work more on the low-income and Asian Pacific Islander communities in Santa Clara County so that they can develop self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and a better quality of life. There are 4 areas of law that we practice: immigration, housing, family law, and public benefits. In the case of housing, we help tenants. In the case of family law, we focus our efforts on helping survivors of domestic violence. If anyone would like to have legal consultation with us, please call us at 408-287-9710. In addition to our legal service, we also conduct multilingual community education and outreach, and we participate in civic engagement. Most of the information in this presentation have to do with these 2 aspects of our work. In our civic engagement work, we are guided by the principle that is enshrined in our logo, namely working for justice, dignity, and equality. Here are some examples of the recent projects that we performed. In 2020, we promoted the census. We encouraged people to participate in the census and be counted. Last year, we worked on redistricting. Voter engagement is an ongoing project and process, so we do it every year. And recently, we focused on Asian Americans Pacific Islander or AAPI activism work. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in this presentation. Recently, unfortunately, there has been a sharp increase in the amount of hate crime. It doesn't matter whether we look at the statistics at the national level or in the states of California or in Santa Clara County. Here, the data at national level are from the FBI reports. Data in California and Santa Clara County come from California Department of Justice reports. Since there's no report for year 2021 yet, I'm showing a comparison of only year 2019 to year 2020. Across the board, unfortunately, there is an increase in the amount of hate crime. When we look at the anti-Asian bias aspect of hate crime, the increase in percentage is even much sharper. For example, in California, while the overall amount of increase in hate crime from 2019 to 2020 is 31%, the anti-Asian bias hate crime increased by 107%. And in Santa Clara County, the number is even more pronounced, namely almost at 185%. In the city of San Jose, here I'm showing the statistics from San Jose Police Department. From 2019 to 2020 and to 2021, from year to year, there has been an increase. Most of the biases have to do with race, followed by sexual orientation. In Santa Clara County, here are some statistics of hate incidents compiled by Stop AAPI Hate. From March 9, 2020 to the end of last year, there were 371 incidents. Out of all these incidents, approximately half of them were harassment. About 1/4 of them took place in public streets, and another 1/4 took place in businesses. 3 out of 4 incidents were triggered by race or ethnicity. And in terms of the ethnicity of survivors, about 42% were Chinese, 11% Taiwanese, another 11% Vietnamese, 10% Filipinics, 9% Korean, and many other ethnicities, so we have a few percentages as well. In terms of the gender of survivors, 56% of the survivors were female, 41% male, and 3% non-conforming. So how can you help? Here is ALA's response to the rise of anti-Asian incidents and racism. We are looking for volunteers to help with any of the following. So there are many different types of tasks and many different areas where people can help. So we hope that at least one of these aspects appeals to you. So we are looking for volunteers to conduct community outreach. This because in order to react to anti-Asian sentiments and racism, we have to increase the awareness of the community members. People need to know their rights. People should be given the resources so that they know where to go to help if they need help. So to help conduct community research, we are looking for volunteers to help distribute Know Your Rights materials and other education materials. For example, volunteers will go to local businesses and local organizations to distribute maybe flyers or booklets or other educational materials. Another aspect of this work is that volunteers can help arrange presentations through their personal, academic, and professional networks. While the Asian Law Alliance has a number of connections and contacts with different community organizations and local organizations, no one and no organization can have a perfect network that can reach out to everyone. So we need your help. For example, okay, if you are in school, okay, you have your academic network, or you have other clubs, you have classes. If you work, okay, you can have a professional network with your colleagues. In your personal life, okay, maybe you participate in maybe a soccer team or a baseball team. So for example, you can help spread the message within your soccer team. So in this area, okay, we would like to ask for your help to reach out to either organizations or groups or teams, okay, in your personal life and in your academic and professional life, so that, okay, you can connect them with Asian Law Alliance, so that Asian Law Alliance can conduct outreach and spread the message and share Know Your Rights information. Of course, if you would like to deliver such presentations yourself, we will be more than glad to train you and to help you with that presentation. But at a minimum, okay, we're asking you to help make connections between your networks and the Asian Law Alliance. Another aspect of this work is to be our ears and eyes in the community. In other words, if you know of anyone who is a survivor of a hate crime or hate incidents, you can either refer the person to us, to Asian Law Alliance for legal consultation, or if you already have the resources, share the resources with the persons who need such information. A second category of tasks that we are doing is an educational survey. So we are launching an educational survey to be conducted mostly in high schools. We would like to find out about AAPI students' experience in the educational setting. For example, do they experience bullying or some form of anti-AAPI sentiments? So by gathering such information, we will be better informed and to help guide our future work. For example, Asian Law Alliance may consider some advocacy work in the educational area, or we may decide to do our Know Your Rights presentation in a different manner. So by being more informed, okay, of what is actually happening in schools, that will actually help frame and guide Asian Law Alliance AAPI activism work. And then, as in just about any campaign, it's important to have social media campaign as well. So we also look for volunteers to help create social media graphics and content. Volunteers can also provide resources to people who need such information during legal intake. And therefore, we are also looking for volunteers to become legal intake workers. I'll talk a little bit more about that later in this presentation. In the case of legal intake work, training will be provided. As in many campaigns, Asian Law Alliance also works with other partner organizations. For example, we may organize some events or some training together. As such, we also look for volunteers who can help with working with other partner organizations. In addition to what I mentioned about, there are other volunteer opportunities mostly related to our legal surveys. One such area is the legal intake. So legal intake is the first step for a new client or for a client who comes back to us with a new legal question. So when a client comes to us, we have to take down some information. For example, we need to know the client's like name, address, phone number, and so on. So that's biographical information. We also need to understand the legal questions or the legal situation of the client. So for example, if the client wants to apply for naturalization, okay, then we have certain questions that we actually need to ask. We have to understand the client's immigration history and so on and so forth. So the work of the legal intake worker is to gather information about each client's case and then summarize the information to the supervising attorney. The supervising attorney will then give legal advice, which the legal intake worker will convey to the client. In other words, under normal circumstances, the supervising attorney does not talk to the clients directly. So communication is through the legal intake worker. Another type of work where we appreciate volunteers' help is immigration clinics. ALA holds several immigration clinics every month to fill out immigration forms for clients who do not have complicated cases. The actual form filling is done by volunteers, and after that, a supervising attorney will review the forms. Very often, some of our clients do not speak English proficiently, and therefore, in order to provide legal service to them, either translation or interpretation will be required. So translation is written, interpretation is verbal. So whenever an ALA staff member has to meet with a client who requests language support, we would like to have a volunteer to help in the interpretation. I'm going to talk a little bit more about other project opportunities. In addition to what I mentioned before, we are always looking for volunteers to help with voter registration. Voting is the cornerstone of our democracy, so we have ongoing work to encourage eligible voters to register to vote and then actually to cast a ballot during an election. So in terms of voter registration work, during the pandemic, we used mostly relational outreach. In other words, we asked volunteers to reach out to their personal, academic, and professional networks to encourage people to register to vote. Now that the community is gradually opening up again as the pandemic hopefully gradually fades, we are getting back to the community and we are doing more in-person outreach for voter registration. And very often we do this in community events where we may have a table or we may participate in an event, or sometimes we go to a particular campus, such as say State University, and we walk around the campus to talk to people to help people register to vote. I already mentioned the AAPI Voices for Justice volunteer opportunities. And if you're interested, please fill out a volunteer interest form shown in the link here. And to summarize, if you're interested in volunteering, or if you have any questions about volunteering that you would like to discuss with us, please contact Mei Lin at ALA Volunteer Cohort at AsianLawAlliance.org. Again, thank you very much. Have a good day. Goodbye.